it's funny how the Germans handle their history compared to like America, right? Because in Germany, they don't play that shit. You do not carry around a swastika. You do not sit there talking about how cool Hitler or Nazism is. Like you get fucked up for that. And like they don't have a guilt. They've reconciled with their history, and everyone's better for it. They're
they refuse to let it happen again.
Yeah, and it's like that's all anyone's ever wanted to happen in America as far as like our history. It's like you sit there, because we spend the entire time obfuscating and lying about what happened and all this shit. And it's like if we would just come to terms with it, we would be so far ahead on our healing by now.
Yeah, I think it's, I hate to say it, but I think it's some maintaining of power, a little bit of guilt that's in there where people don't necessarily want. Like we've done a lot of fucked up things. I saw the speaker who was speaking, and the gentleman got up and said, as a black person, how do you feel about all the crime and black people being so violent and all this stuff, right? And
wow.
And the guy was like, I'm not going to answer your question. I don't feel any way about it. And he was like, well, black people are, probably the most violent people out there right now. And he was just like, you want to go back and talk about violence? Like in America, hands down, the most violent people in America, hands down, are white people. Like you look at their body count versus our body count, you can't compare them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the they don't want to own that. They don't want to own some of the violent stuff that they've done, some of that. And I don't know if they feel as though it lowers their position or it makes them too vulnerable, because no one really likes being vulnerable. But I don't see it happening, man. Like I don't see them owning it. And I think now the time for owning it is kind of past. Like, so with Nazi, like you said, the generation that perpetrated this thing also is the same generation or the immediate generation that after it, which said we'll never be this way again.
Right.
It's been a long span right now.
Yeah.
Right. It needs to be, and it gets diluted the longer it goes. So, yeah, I mean, I applaud what they've done and how they recognize evil, but I don't think we'll even recognize it because some of these people haven't perpetrated that evil, so they feel as though they don't need to apologize. It's bullshit.
And with that guy, was what he was saying, like that's part of the problem of like, oh, well, what do you say as a black man because of the violence in the black community or whatever? And it's like
they always bring up Chicago.
Oh, of course, it's always their favorite, target talking point too. But it's like, I don't think white people need to like this whole thing of having to speak towards the actions of a different group of people just because you share the same skin color. It's absurd. Like this framing, like this, it's racist inherently.
So who takes the accountability? Like when we need to start our
the
healing,
person
right?
that did the thing.
But they're dead, Alvin. They're dead.
Oh, okay. The
accountability for us, like who takes the accountability here? Like who should take the accountability? Should it be the president of the United States? Should it be Congress? Should it be Senate? It's like should it be an American entity? Like who takes the blame and says, "Yeah, we were wrong"? Like who took the blame for Japanese internment camps that we did? Like anybody ever take the blame for that and say we were wrong for that?
Oh yeah, FDR. I'm pretty sure they gave the Japanese reparations right after. But it's like, that's kind of different because FDR was alive to do it, and then I think he paid when he was alive. If not, but regardless, it's not like white people did it. It's like this is what Americans did. Yeah, America did it. So America needs to take the blame and make things right for what it did to a group of people inside of the country. This guy, he's like, oh, well, yeah, black people are doing this. It's like, I didn't do anything. Like, and, white people didn't do anything. It was a group of people who did something to another group. And it just never fixed. Never paid the debt.
Never got closure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we were supposed to get the 40-acre mule. That was supposed to be our closure. And we never got it.
Exactly. So, and I think the studies on that, it's like if you take the value of that and add inflation and all that stuff, like it's worth like nearly $1 trillion, if I'm not mistaken. So
I wouldn't doubt it, but like, man, we broke, man. Shit, we about to lose our shit. This debt ceiling shit. This makes me